You know, there's a lot of discussion about, I haven't studied it in a while, but I saw something came up. A few weeks ago. It was talking about, something came up about soulmates or something like that. Whatever you want to call it. And, oh, that's what it was. One narcissist teacher, she made a joke. She said, soulmate. She said, I don't believe in that. Well, let's think about that. Is that a real thing? There's a lot of people saying it is, a lot of people saying it ain't. Let's think about it. Let's go back to first principles. Let's go back to the archetypes. You got Adam and Eve. You got Adam and Eve. Eve is a piece cut off from Adam and being cut back in. She knew Adam. She knew that Adam was the one. And Adam knew she was the one. Because he was he looked at all the beasts of the field and he said, all the beasts have partners, companion, partner, E-R, part N-E-R, companion, C-O-M, eat bread, pan, C-O-M is together, pan is bread, part is a piece, E-R, N is snake and the fish, reaching down to pull up the snake and the fisherman. E-R is air, joint heirs. Eve is a side of Adam. The S is integration, I-D-E. She gets her identity out of Adam, right? And the letter E is spirit. So what is a soulmate? But let's take it a little bit further. So let's look at all the data points. Let's look at all the data points. Christ and his church. Now that's spiritual. Spiritually, you're one with all believers. Down here in the physical realm, the soulish, the will, the emotions, the intellect, the five senses, eyes, mouth, ears, ear gate. Your soul ties. Okay, so if there's no such a thing as soulmate, why is everybody saying how to break soul ties? So there's unhealthy, toxic soul ties. And then so if there's unhealthy, toxic soul ties that you have to break, then there has to be healthy soul ties. And there's has to be one soul tie that's really healthy. Now, when Jacob married those two wives, he didn't want to marry Leah. He married Rachel. He wanted to marry Rachel, but his uncle fooled him, so he ended up with two wives, right? And so he loved Rachel more than he loved Leah. But in the end, after many years, he started to see who was really his soul tie, his soulmate, or whatever. And I heard a preacher, a sermon on it, how he named some offspring after her kids became blessed or something. I forget. Leah. Anyway, long story short, if you have to break toxic soul ties, then there must be a real soul tie. Now, there's a lot of spirit ties with the born-again saints. You got a preacher in the church, and you got the church, mainly 80% women, right? So there's going to be a lot of women that feels connected to the preacher, you know. But he has a wife. That's the one he's, in the natural he's with. But in the spiritual, he loves the whole body of Christ, right? The whole church. And so is it a thing? If you got two people, he said, I met my, they've been together for 20 years, I met my soul tie. They'll say, yeah, it's a real thing. And you see when two people are together for a long time, one of them dies, a year later the other one dies because of heartache, broken heart. One dies. One person dies. How can somebody die because the one how can they have they miss that person so bad they just die? How's that even possible? So you see these people that say there's no such thing as a soulmate or a soul tie, and they're over here single by themselves. Then when you look at, you go through life long enough and you see older people, the husband or the wife dies, a year later they're dead from a broken heart. You can actually Google that. It's a real thing, people. You could line up 20 people. There's 20 women right there, and the man's sitting here, and he's out of all those 20, there's one that he wants to talk to. He wants to be around, be with, talk to. He don't even see the other 19. He might see them, but they don't mean anything. Now, was it a soul tie that was built? Or was it predetermined? I'm going to go up here I'm going to go to a different place. You could ask the question, is everything predestined? Is it still Adam and Eve? Is the story of Adam and Eve playing out? When Adam saw Eve, he said, oh, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. Is it still playing out? Is the companionship where you're together eating feel like the right ship you're supposed to be on? In other words, I don't know if you've ever experienced this in your job, in your careers. If you tried a bunch of different jobs or careers or whatever, some of them fit, some of them don't. You say, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I enjoy this. This is my calling. You're good at it, whatever it is. You're good at it. If you can be called to a certain career, a certain path, certain spiritual gifts, some teachers, some singers, some piano players, if you can be called to certain gifts, callings, places, some people would rather live at the beach. Some people would rather live in the mountains. Some people rather live in a city. Some people flatland city. Some people rather live in the county. Some people you jive with, and some people you don't. Hello? The question still stands. As I keep talking, what's your gut feeling? I think I know your gut feeling. I think I know your gut feeling. Because look at all the people out there. They got married and they're not happy, and they always run back to some side piece that they used to know or talk to. Or they always run back to that one. Because that other one, the other, if you look up the word other, it means like, same, similar. The other one over there, they jive with. That's why there's so much ridiculousness about divorce rates and all, because people are not trained. They don't even know what they want in life. When you're young, you don't even know who you are. And notice how people grow apart. I'm not saying it is or not. I'm going to let you make your decision. If Adam had a soulmate, that was the one he knew that was his, he knew that person came from his side. Identity. Same identity. same person, same, similar, like, same, similar, like, similar, you know. I was just thinking about that space over there, and as soon as I thought about it, I wonder if that space opened, I saw somebody pull in. I'm not telling you what to believe on this. I'll let you believe your own stuff. But I'm telling you, there's first principles out there. And those first principles, to me, don't change. Those first principles, I call them archetypes, and they never change. And the reason people get confused and get mixed up, because they try to change the archetypes. They try to change the archetypes. I'll let you make a decision. A lot of people say, no, there's not. And they're never, I've seen it on both sides. Some that say, yeah, there's such a thing. We've been together 50 years. Some say no, and one of them dies, the other one dies. Some people, single people, say, no, there's no such a thing. And they've dated about 20 people. And I'm sure they look back and they think about that one person probably, or they might not have. They just might not have met them yet. They look back and they say that was the one. And deep down, if you talk to people long enough, and enough people, I've talked to enough people in my lifetime, they're always looking for that one that understands them. Because they're always crying, they don't understand me, they can't hear me, they're not listening, they don't hear. They're always looking for that one that understands them. But they say, oh, there's no such thing as soulmates. But they're looking for that one. Believe what you want. I've never talked about it before. I thought about it many years, and I've listened to, not sermons, but listened to these teachers talking about it. I don't really care if you believe it or not, or if you have arguments for it, against it. I'd like to hear them, but your number one connection is with Christ. And you're one with the whole body, so you're brothers and sisters with the whole body, and you know it. When you meet a born again, you know they're born again. But then in the natural, everybody's looking for that one. What happens when they die? Let's say they think they meet the one, and then that person dies, and they're by themselves, and they live longer. Are they still looking for another one? They always compare it to the one, you know. A lot of people live in the past. One of them's dead, and they still live in the past, you know. But they'll say, oh, there's no such thing as soulmates, because that one that they thought was died, and so they're out here just doing their thing. Some people are living in fear. Some people are living in the past. Some people are afraid of getting hurt, pain, suffering. There's a lot of psychological stuff going on out there, people. And it ain't no joke. I have talked to many people in my lifetime. Let's see. Let's take 10,000 subscribers plus 6,000 plus before YouTube plus working with the phone company in people's houses, plus all the different hospitality jobs, apartment jobs. I've talked to more people than I can even count. It's got to be 100,000 or more at least. It might be 500,000. It might be 1 million. I've talked to a lot of people, and I see the same patterns, and I see the same struggles, and I see the same questions, and I see the same everything. The insecurities, the fear, the worry, the goals, everything that, and if you read all the comments, people who've been hurt by psychopaths, sociopaths, or whatever, you read their comments. Some of them are bots. I know they're not always real people, but you look for a common pattern in different platforms, and you're like, okay, you put all the puzzle pieces together, and you say, oh, everybody's looking for home. They're looking for that place that feels like home. Let me say it that way. Let's forget the word soulmate. They're just looking for that place that they feel like they're at home and they belong. And then some situations they're in, it's all toxic, and they're trying to get away from it, and they're trying to find it. And the system knows this. And the system's always trying to surround a sheep with a bunch of toxic people who pretend to be born again. They're not. And so these toxic people are trying to find home, but they want you to deal with their toxicity when they're not willing. Look, they're willing to dish out the toxicity, but when you give it back, then they run and hide. You just give them a mirror image of what they're doing, and they can't handle it. They want you to take their junk without saying nothing, without boundaries, but they can't take it. You know, the game repeats.